The setup for the cooking server is pretty straightforward and pretty easy. There's only 4 items in the box when you unpack it, plus the setup instructions. The setup instructions essentially go over everything I'm going to explain in this video. The first thing is the floorboard, and the floorboard is what you're going to interact with the most to do your cooking. There's a server blade, which is going to hold all of the items that you're going to be cooking with. There's a server controller, which basically manages everything, and there's a tile, which I'll explain a little bit more later in detail. For starters, you're going to res out the floorboard. That's the first thing you'll do, and then you can position the floorboard where you like. And the next thing you're going to res out is the server controller, and again, position that anywhere you like. And then finally, you're going to res out the server blade, position it where you like. And when you do, you're going to get a message in local letting you know that the server blade has been added to the system. And so the system is completely set up and ready to use now. All you have to do next is to add the items that you want to cook with to the system itself. And you're going to do that by opening up the edit window for the server blade, going to the Contents tab, and this is where you're going to put all of the things from your inventory folder, drag them over into the Contents folder of the server blade, and those are the items that you're going to use for cooking with the system. You can put as many items as you want in the server blade, and you can use multiple server blade if it makes it easier for you to manage your items. You can put items across multiple server blades. The same items don't all have to be in the same server blade. This is the main place where you're going to store all the things that you're going to be cooking with in the system, and you can use as many as you want. So now that we're actually ready to cook something with the system, I started out by setting up a few stoves that we're going to cook with. We're going to be just using these to make a simple animal protein recipe just to demonstrate how the system works. And we'll first set up our DFS HUD for cooking. You'll notice the crafting cooking HUD layout matches the 1 through 9 layout of the floorboard. And to get things started, you're just going to touch the floorboard. When you do, you'll get a pop-up menu in the right corner that asks you to enter text. And what we'll do is enter a string for one of our ingredients. We'll start off just by entering apple, and you'll type in apple when you do and hit submit. You'll notice in the bottom left-hand corner you're going to get a list of all the items in the system that have the matching string apple, which is including 0 on the list, which is the item we want. So we'll select 0 from the menu, and then we're going to select the spot where we want that to be on our board down below on the 1 through 9. In this case, for this recipe, apples are going to be in spot 8. So we'll click the 8, and the apple tile will then res into the 8 spot for us. And we're going to repeat the same process for milk. Click the board, and we'll type in milk, so we get our milk crate. When we hit submit, we see the list down below, and milk crate is number 1. So we'll select, number 2. So we'll select 2, and then we're just going to select spot number 7 in this case for the milk crate. And you'll see that tile rests at spot 7. And we need another milk crate for spot 2. So this time we'll type in the word crate. You'll see it works as long as you have a matching string in the system. You can find it. And so we look over here. In this case, milk crate is number 6 on our list. So we'll choose that, and then we're going to choose 6, and we're going to choose spot number 2, which is where that goes for the animal protein recipe. So that's where all of our tiles are to cook with. And when you want to start resing the actual items now, we're just going to click the actual tile, and when you do, you'll see it gets a little bit darker in color, and then it'll start to res the items right over it. And then you'll do the same thing for the other 2 tiles down below. We have the milk tile and the apple tile down below. When you click those, you'll see those items start resing just above the tile. And now we're set up and ready to cook with those. So the cooking process is pretty straightforward. You're just loading the items into the HUD like you normally do with DFS, and cooking the protein. And the board is set up so that it will automatically replenish the items as they are used. So once you use a milk crate, it will load another one above it, so you can continue cooking as much as you want. until you decide you're done, which one you can stop them from rezzing as well. What you do to do that is you just click the tile again, and you'll see when you do, it changes from very dark color to a little bit lighter color. And at that point, the items will no longer res out. The items that are there will obviously still remain that have already rezzed out, but it'll no longer res new items as those disappear. Do the same for this milk crate down below. And for the apple basket, and you'll see the tile itself actually gets just a little lighter in color. That's an indication that it's no longer rezzing items for you. And you can still continue to cook, obviously, with the items that are still rezzed until they're finished. And you'll see that as you do, and as those items are used up, new ones are not re-rezzed in their place. You can see the bottom left milk crates are finished. As we're continuing to cook protein, sped this up obviously a little bit. And now you can see we've used up all the milk, and the apple basket remains. Now, in order to actually remove the tiles, you're just going to click it, and in the top corner, you're just going to type in the word die, D-I-E, and when you submit that, it will automatically remove all the tiles that are rezzed on the board and give you a notification in the corner about that. And then all the remaining items to cook with, in this case the apple baskets, you'll just collect those back in your inventory, and then you can put those back in the content of the server blade and continue to use those next time to cook. Just drop them from your inventory, drag them right back in there, and they're ready to use the next time. And that's all it takes to cook with the Magic Server. The system's management capabilities include the ability to do a full audit, and you do so by touching the server controller and at that prompt typing in full count. And in doing so, the system will then generate a full audit report of all of the items and the counts that you have of each in the system. This includes all of the items that came with the system initially, including all of the ones you added. And it takes a little while to run the report. You'll see I've sped it up a little bit, but once it finishes, it'll give you a full accounting of all of the items and how many of each you have. This is one way you're able to actually see what you have left in terms of how many items you have total of everything in the system. You can also get a count of individual items within the system, as well as have them given to you in inventory if you don't need to cook with them. You do so by touching the server controller and then entering the string of the item you want to interact with. In this case, we'll type in apples, and we'll select apple baskets, and we will then select count, and the server will tell us how many apple baskets we have remaining in the system throughout all of the server blades. As you can see, we have a couple of rezzed out here. If you want the system to give you an item or multiple items, you again touch the server controller and then enter a string. In this case, we'll use milk and select milk crate, and we'll select the quantity, and it will then send those items to our inventory directly for us to use. You are able to add your own ingredients to the system as well. The system comes with over 400 ingredients to start with, but if there's something that you need to cook with that doesn't already exist, you are able to add it. Here's the process. First of all, you need to make sure you have the textures, and the textures have to be in the exact name of the item that you're adding. So DFS vanilla pudding, DFS buttered toast are the two items we're going to be adding in this scenario. And to start with, what you're going to do is go back to your original box, and you're going to pull out that tile at the bottom, and you're going to res that down and put it next to the floorboard, and you're going to open up that tile and look at its contents, and you're just going to drag those two textures that you have for the two new ingredients from your inventory into that contents folder for that tile that you dragged on the floor from inventory. So drag those in there, and then after you do, you can go ahead and close that edit window because you don't need that anymore. And you're just going to go ahead and touch the tile itself, and when you do, it's going to reload everything back into the server, and you'll see it has a countdown going on as it does so. And I'll speed that up a little bit here as well. But basically, this is going through and re-adding all of the ingredients that are in the tile back to the system to make sure it reloads everything, including the 2 new ingredients, and those will be added to the system when it finishes, and then you'll be able to cook with those as well. So once it's done, in the bottom corner, you'll also get a little message letting you know that everything is finished and that everything has been reloaded. And when you get that, you know you're ready to use that new tile in the system. So to use it, you first have to right-click and take this tile back into inventory. And when you do, it's going to show up in your inventory in that same original folder where you unpacked everything, but it's going to be at the very top of that folder now. And that's the tile you're going to need to use. That's the new one you just modified. You're not going to use the old one, the original one at the bottom of the folder. You're going to use the new one, which is going to be the latest one. And so to use that now, you're going to open up the floorboard. You're going to edit it and go to the tile that's in there now, which is still the old one. And you're going to just right-click and delete that to remove it. Then you're going to go to your inventory and you're going to drag that new tile from your inventory into the contents folder of the floorboard so that you can now use the new tile that has the new ingredients loaded. And now you're ready to cook with those as well. So you can go ahead and close everything down now. And now if you go ahead and interact with the board, you'll be able to see that those ingredients are now loaded. So if you touch the tile, in this case we're going to try, we'll do the buttered toast. So we'll type in toast. And when we enter submit, we'll see that it appears down in the bottom left as an option. And when we select it, we'll go ahead and load it up on the board, and we'll just put it in spot 4 in this case. And you can see there's our buttered toast tile. We don't have any buttered toast in our inventory, so we can't res any. So we're just going to go ahead and kill that. But we know that that is now loaded into the system for us to use in the future if we wish to, and that's how you're able to add your own ingredients to the system if you want to cook with those. You can add as many ingredients as you want. I believe the system will hold at least 800 total. I don't think we've ever exceeded that, but you can add as many as you want as far as we're aware. There's no limitation. If you ever have an issue with something you've added, or you need to reset the inventory because you've added something in error that you shouldn't have and you want to remove it, the easiest way to do it is to reset the entire system. And the way you do that is by simply going to the server controller and clicking the Reset All Scripts button. That's easy enough. And then after you do so, you're going to re-res out the most recent tile you have with the most recent ingredients, and simply touch it again and let it reset and re-add everything back to the system. The system will also automatically re-add the server blade when it resets, so that all gets detected as well. Everything gets reset to the way it was with the most recent good tile, and you're up and running again in just a matter of minutes. Very easy to reset the system if something happens. In this case, because you have the most recent tile already loaded in the floorboard, you don't even have to go back and delete the old one and replace it. You already have the most recent tile, so you can just delete the tile you've resed out, and you're already ready to get going again and start cooking. By default, the system is limited to group, but you can also restrict it to owner-only access by entering access after you touch the server controller. And at the menu, you can select either group access or owner-only access to restrict who's able to access the cooking server.
Shining star, you got that fire in your eyes. Electric heart, lighting up the midnight skies.